A new era begins with the oath of office, a hand on a Bible, the weight of a nation on his shoulders. Donald J. Trump has returned to the White House in 2025, ready to reshape the nation with a bold set of executive orders. From immigration to energy, education to national security, his actions are already stirring heated debates across the country. In this video, we'll break down the most impactful executive orders signed by Trump during his first days back in office. Stay tuned until the end to hear about the most controversial executive order yet, one that could fundamentally alter the course of American history. On his first day back in office, President Trump signed an executive order declaring a national emergency at the southern border. This declaration, echoing his first term in office, paints a picture of a nation under siege, overrun by undocumented immigrants and ravaged by drug trafficking. The president's supporters argue that this is a necessary step to protect American jobs, communities, and national security. They point to the overwhelming strain on Border Patrol resources and the humanitarian crisis unfolding at the border as evidence of the need for drastic action. However, critics argue that this declaration is a gross exaggeration of the situation at the border, designed to stoke fear and xenophobia for political gain. Adding fuel to the fire, the president also signed an executive order reinstating the controversial Remain in Mexico policy. This policy, widely condemned by human rights groups, forces asylum seekers to wait in dangerous Mexican border towns while their cases are processed in the United States. The Biden administration had ended this policy, deeming it inhumane and ineffective. However, President Trump has made it clear that he believes this policy is essential to deterring frivolous asylum claims and restoring order to the border. Further deepening the controversy, the Trump administration has also moved to terminate the CBP-1 mobile application. Human rights groups counter that the app provided a safe and orderly alternative to dangerous border crossings, and that its termination will only force more migrants into the hands of smugglers. The tremors of President Trump's return are being felt far beyond the borders of immigration policy. In a move that has ignited a firestorm of controversy, the president has signed an executive order effectively defunding diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs across all federal agencies. This decision, lauded by conservatives who view DEI initiatives as divisive and discriminatory, represents a significant victory for those who believe that such programs promote reverse racism and unfairly disadvantage certain groups. They argue that meritocracy, not identity politics, should be the guiding principle in hiring and education. However, the president's decision has been met with fierce resistance from progressives and civil rights groups who view DEI programs as essential to dismantling systemic racism and promoting equality of opportunity. Adding another layer to the already complex and heated debate, the Trump administration has also issued an executive order recognizing only two genders within federal policies. This decision, a resounding victory for social conservatives, effectively erases the recognition and rights of transgender and non-binary individuals within the federal government. Supporters of the president's decision argue that it upholds traditional values and protects the sanctity of binary gender identities. However, LGBTQ+ advocates and their allies have condemned the decision as discriminatory and dangerous. They argue that it denies the lived experiences of transgender and non-binary individuals, and will lead to increased discrimination and violence against an already marginalized community. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the global community, President Trump has signed an executive order declaring a national energy emergency. This declaration, citing concerns over rising energy prices and dependence on foreign oil, lays the groundwork for a dramatic shift in American energy policy. The president's supporters, particularly those in the energy sector, have applauded this move, arguing that it will unleash American energy independence and create jobs. They believe that the Biden administration's focus on renewable energy sources was misguided and harmful to the economy. However, environmental groups have condemned the declaration as a reckless giveaway to the fossil fuel industry that will have devastating consequences for the planet. In line with his commitment to boosting domestic energy production, President Trump has also signed an executive order expediting permits for oil and gas drilling on federal lands and waters. This move, designed to fast-track energy projects and reduce reliance on foreign imports, has been hailed by industry leaders as a major victory. However, environmental groups and indigenous communities have expressed outrage, arguing that this decision will have irreversible consequences for fragile ecosystems, wildlife, and sacred lands. Further solidifying his commitment to fossil fuels, President Trump has announced the United States' withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord. The president's decision, met with international condemnation, signals a return to an isolationist approach to climate change. He has long argued that the Paris Agreement is unfair to the United States, placing undue burdens on American businesses and workers, while allowing other countries, particularly China, to continue polluting. Chapter 4. America First. Trump's National Security and Trade Offensive. President Trump has signed an executive order designating the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, as a terrorist organization. This grants the U.S. government powers to target the gang's finances and operations. The administration accuses Tren de Aragua of drug trafficking, human smuggling, and extortion. They argue the gang threatens regional stability and U.S. national security. The designation has mixed reactions internationally. Some countries welcome it, while others express concerns about U.S. power expansion. President Trump has also resumed construction of the border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. This project, halted by the Biden administration, was a cornerstone of Trump's 2016 campaign. Trump argues the wall deters illegal immigration and trafficking. He vows to complete the wall despite legal challenges and opposition. The decision reignites the debate over border security and immigration. Supporters say it protects jobs and security, while opponents call it xenophobic and wasteful. Trump has also imposed new tariffs on imports from China, Canada, and Mexico. This measure aims to protect American jobs from unfair trade practices. The administration accuses these countries of currency manipulation and intellectual property theft. Chapter 5. The Line Crossed. Trump's Most Controversial Actions. In a move that has shaken the very foundations of American democracy, President Trump has granted pardons to individuals convicted of crimes related to the January 6th Capitol attack. This decision, met with widespread condemnation from both sides of the political aisle, has raised serious questions about the president's commitment to the rule of law and the peaceful transfer of power. The president's supporters argue that these pardons are an act of mercy, and that the individuals involved were simply exercising their First Amendment rights. However, critics argue that these pardons are a dangerous assault on democracy and send a message that violence and insurrection will be tolerated. This decision has deepened the already bitter partisan divide in the United States and raised concerns about the potential for future political violence. Many fear that the president's actions will embolden extremist groups and further erode trust in democratic institutions. In a move that has ignited a firestorm of controversy and legal challenges, President Trump has signed an executive order ending birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants. This decision, a long-held goal of immigration hardliners, represents a fundamental shift in American immigration policy and a direct challenge to the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, states that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The president's supporters argue that this interpretation is flawed and that the 14th Amendment was never intended to grant citizenship to the children of undocumented immigrants. They believe that ending birthright citizenship is necessary to deter illegal immigration and protect American sovereignty. However, legal scholars and civil rights groups argue that the president's executive order is unconstitutional and sets a dangerous precedent. This executive order is already facing numerous legal challenges and is likely to end up before the Supreme Court. Outro: The road ahead, uncertainty and division in Trump's America. As Donald Trump settles back into the Oval Office, his executive orders set the tone for what promises to be a transformative and highly controversial term. Supporters see these moves as a fulfillment of his promises to prioritize America's sovereignty, economy, and security, viewing them as bold and decisive actions necessary to restore America's standing in the world. However, critics warn of deeper divisions in the nation, expressing fear that these policies will marginalize vulnerable communities, damage the environment, and erode democratic norms. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest political news. For more in-depth analysis and exclusive content, click the link in the description below.